Okay, for the next unit we're going to look at factorising. Most students don't have too much difficulty with factorising, but it's remembering what they're being asked to do when they're being told to factorise. And if we think about factorising as the opposite of expanding, that is, that we're putting something into brackets, then we shouldn't have too many difficulties. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take outside the bracket whatever the highest common factor is of all the numbers inside. Now remember, the highest common factor is that biggest number that divides into everything. And we're also going to take out the lowest power of all of the letters. So let's have a look at that. So for the first one, I'm being asked to factorise 10x plus 25. So we're going to look at the numbers first. And the first thing I'm thinking is, what is the biggest number that divides into both 10 and 25? Well, both of them are in the 5 times table. So I know that I can take 5 outside of my bracket. Now, this term here has an x, this term doesn't have an x. So I can't do anything with the letters. So I've got my brackets, I know that I've got 5 outside. Now, what would I need to multiply my 5 by to take me back to 10? Well, it would be 2. And I can check, 5 times 2 is 10. But that's not quite right, it needs to be 10x. So here, it's going to be 2x. 5 times 2x would give me 10x. Then I need to say, well, what would give me my 25? 5 times what is 25? Well, 5 times 5 is 25. So here, I'm going to have to put 5 in. And I've got to put a plus in between to remind myself of that plus up there. I can check that by multiplying out. 5 times 2x would have given me 10x, 5 times 5 would have given me plus 25. For the second question, there's a hint in here, and we always need to look out for this in exam papers. It says factorise completely. And when it says factorise completely, that's likely to mean that not only do you need to factorise the numbers, but you're also going to need to do something with factorising the letters. So let's have a look at this one. So we're going to start by looking at what goes into both of those numbers. What are both of them divisible by? Well, they're both divisible by 2, they're even, but actually better than that, they're both divisible by 4. They're both in the 4 times table. So I know I can take 4 out of my bracket. Now, here I've got an x squared, and here I've got an x cubed. Now remember, this means x times x. This means x times x times x. So both of them can be divided by x squared. That's the lowest power in both of those, the 2. So I'm going to take that x squared out. That comes outside the bracket. Now I need to work out what goes inside. Well, 4 times what gives me 12? Well, 4 times 3 gives me 12. I don't need to add any x's here. If I did, that would raise that power, which would be wrong. 4x squared times by 3 takes me back to 12x squared. That's right. Well, here, 4 times what gives me 4? Well, it's 1. But this would give me 4x squared. I want 4x cubed, so I'm going to need to have another x so that I add the powers. Remember, that's 1x to the power of 1. Because now when I multiply them together, I've got 4 times 1 is 4, x squared times x to the power of 1, add together the powers gives me x cubed. We don't normally write either the 1 in front or 1 as a power, so I would normally write that as 4x squared lots of 3 plus x. Okay, can you pause the video, make sure you've got those worked examples down, and then I'm going to give you some questions to try yourselves. Okay, here's 10 questions for you to try. Just be careful once you get to question 7. In these cases, you're going to have to do something with the letters. Up to question 6, you're only going to need to do something with the numbers. Okay, can you take a second, please, to pause the video, write down those questions, and give them a try yourselves. Okay, so for the first one, I can see that 8 goes into both 8 and 16, so 8 comes out of the bracket, and inside I'm going to need y plus 2. For the second one, I've got 10m take away 25, both of them are in the 5 times table, so 5 comes out, and I've got 2m take away 5. Here, both are in the 6 times table, so I've got 6 outside the bracket, y plus 4 inside the bracket. Here, both 7 and 21 are in the 7 times table, so I've got 7 outside the bracket and m take away 3 inside the bracket. For the next one, I've got 15 and 10, both are in the 5 times table, so it's 5 lots of 3a plus 2. For the next one, both are in the 3 times table, so I've got 3 lots of 4 take away 7t. Now it starts to get more complicated. In the 2 and the 4 times table, I've got 2, but I've got t which is common to both terms, so I can take 2t outside of the brackets. Here, I'd need to multiply that by s, and I'd need to multiply that by 2. Here, there's no common factor of 5 and 3, but there is a common factor of the b here and the b here, so I can take b outside the bracket. I've got 5a for the first term, take away 3 for the second term. For question number 9, 7 goes into both 7 and 21. X goes into both x squared and x, so I've got 7x, and then I've got x take away 3. And for your last one here, 6 and 2 are both divisible by 2. Y goes into both y and y squared, so I've got 2y, and then I've got 3y, take away 1. Okay, give yourself a mark please out of 10. For those of you who had any difficulties with it, please take a look at Hegarty clips number 168 and 169. Well done.